Finance is a very difficult industry to be in, and it's also very predatory and frankly crappy industry. And I saw that anyone who was trying to educate people on this, they were gatekeeping. They were charging a lot of money. They're being very, crude and difficult to people that just need to get their lives together and learn about this tool. So when I launched Stocks University, I made it with the goal in mind to break the gate, to educate people in a way that was accessible to them. So my model, I haven't seen it be done before. I wouldn't say I'm the first, but I'd like to pretend I am. But I would say I'm one of the first people that has ever launched a model of education for finance that says you don't have to pay until you make some money. Because if I'm trying to teach you about finance, the whole goal is why would I charge you first, right? So Stocks University, it has like that free trial for people to utilize, learn, practice, and profit, and never have to pay out of pocket, but instead out of the profit that I've been teaching them how to make.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Guys and girls, I got something special today. I'm going to say it, a 23-year-old that's got 3 businesses. He speaks. He's writing a book. I think he cooks dinner. I think he cooks breakfast. He takes his grandma out to, I'm making up some of that. He is doing so much at 23. He's definitely, I'm 64, 41 years. I wish I was doing that at 23, but we're going to get into all that. So before we start, let's do our gratitude for today. Let's serve some people. You are amazing. Your dreams deserve to come true. And I pull these cards out, and this fits my guest so well today because he's bringing dreams every day to his life and to others. Sebastian, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
You bet. Good looking, beautiful, romantic name, and just killing it as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs listening, what's that first step they need to take?
That's a really good question, Steve. Well, if you're asking about a first step, I'm actually very passionate about that first step. I always tell everyone, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're thinking about, no matter how ready or not you are, the first step is just that. Start. Do it. Throw yourself out, whatever you're doing. It's going to suck. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be really, really crappy. But that's a good thing. Once you're in, you're in. All that's left is to build up from there. Most people, and believe me, Steve, I've got friends also my age that have been talking for the last 5 years about starting this or that goal, this photography work, this cinematography thing, or just this or that business. And 5 years later, they still haven't done it because they don't feel ready yet. And I keep telling them, they've seen me. My first business, I started when I was 14 years old, selling t-shirts at school. And they were so bad. It was so awful, but I started. And that's what gave me the momentum to start everything else and improve. So the first step is always throw yourself. Do it.
It's a beautiful message. But you sold t-shirts. You didn't try to sell, but you did eventually sell t-shirts and made money, right?
I did, absolutely. And that's part of the beauty of it. I started,
Yeah.
Was it great? No. But you will develop to that point. Perfection is not a starting point. It's the goal to build towards. So don't obsess over it so much.
Yes. I have a fun question for you because I want to learn this. I mentor a lot of under 30s that go, I work 8 to 5 at Apple, or I'm an admin at a lawyer office, whatever it may be. And I'm like, this looks really attractive, this entrepreneur journey. What would you tell them if they ask that question of how do I get, what do I need to worry about?
Oh, well, let me be brutally honest, Steve. Everything. I think that entrepreneurship is the most beautiful journey that you could ever take because it really embodies life the most. I'm going to be really rough and really brutally honest. I think that if you're not living for yourself, working for yourself, shedding blood, sweat, and tears for yourself, you have yet to know what life really is. Because in almost every other aspect of life, when you're shedding those blood, sweat, and tears for someone else, another man's dream, when you lose, you're not really losing. But when you win, you're also not really winning. Someone is there to take the credit. Someone's there to take the blame. You're walking this paved path, but your heart is always craving to wander off the beaten path and just find your own way. That's why I say entrepreneurship is the hardest and best thing you could ever do. Even if it's not always about being a business owner, write that book. Make that YouTube, do your speeches, do whatever it is that you want to do, but shed blood, sweat, and tears for yourself. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. Own that. That's the best thing you could do for your life.
I love that. And I'm going to borrow that. I used to say steal because I'm not stealing because we're working, collaborating. But I'm going to borrow that because you're right. I work at Apple 8 to 5. I make 150,000 a year, good living. But
Mhm.
when the company starts failing, I'm not failing. I still get my check. But when it
Right.
starts winning, and Apple's won the last 10 years, maybe they got stock, they get stock and they get some stuff, but it's not as big as what you do. And it's something to remember
Right.
if you're looking as an entrepreneur or looking to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Speaking, how does, I don't know how old you were, how do you speak at your young age at the United Nations?
Yeah, yeah. So it's one of those things that I always say. I got to speak at the United Nations just from connections that I made speaking at smaller places. My speaking career started almost, I call it divine intervention. I call it a miracle. It was at the end of my line. I was 20. And I was broke. I was broke. I was failing in every regard. And came the time where both my parents lost their jobs at the same time. And we're a family of immigrants, by the way. We came here to the well, not here, I'm in Spain right now, but we came to the United States to follow this American dream that felt like a carrot on a stick, always too far away. All that we had was work, 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 and work, endless shifts, endless sacrifice. And this is part of the reason why I'm so firm on working for yourself because after 17 years of hard work, they just got kicked out on their butts with nothing to their name. And we were facing the real possibility of homelessness. And with the last little bit of money I had, I just dumped it into ads for my business. And guess what? That was almost 10,000, almost $20,000 worth of ads that I paid for. I work with an agency. I work with a million different things, and I didn't get a single client from that for my first business. I thought it was over. I was out of Hail Marys, I was out of everything. That was it. Until a church that I would frequent invited me to speak at an event, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, whatever, I'll go speak. I had done a little bit of public speaking before that, but nothing too crazy. And something happened. I mean, I spoke from the heart. I spoke from the passion, the desperation to succeed. I spoke from everything that I had inside of me, and I spoke about my business. And almost every single person in the audience, almost 300 people, signed up to my business right off the bat. And I realized that that was a breakthrough that I was waiting for. And from that one stage, I got invited to another one, to another one, to another one. I made so many connections until I met a gentleman, Apostle Axel Sapak, who invited me to speak at the United Nations alongside with him. Speaking is the act of embodying your purpose. And if your business or your dream or your work isn't connected to a purpose, it's empty. You need to be a purpose-based entrepreneur and speak it from the heart. Make the world align with your message by aligning yourself with it first and developing the voice to preach it.
That's why you love speaking then, not to
I
see
do.
you the United
That's why.
Nations. That's your passion for it, right?
Exactly right. And it saved my life. And everyone who I've worked with, all the speakers that have got in my agency, they've seen the same thing. They've seen growth. There's nothing that's going to grow you as much as speaking because to us humans, it's a superpower. Someone that is articulate and can really embody a message, we align with them. It moves us. That's why I say speaking is a superpower.
Somebody listening, and I have a number of people I know that I've talked to have been guests or people that listen to my podcast are looking for speaking gigs or looking to speak or start speaking. What are some steps they can do to get started?
I would always say, especially if you're a brand new speaker, you need to develop some kind of portfolio first, something to show people, right? Easiest way to do it, there's a lot of podcasts that you can get on for free. There's a lot of people that you can meet that would be more than happy to have you on as a guest. Again, just like when your first question, asking me, what is the first step for entrepreneurs? Just do it. Start doing some small time speaking at some smaller podcasts. Record yourself talk. Do things of that nature, and it's going to help you become more articulate. And it's also going to help you build connections. One podcast could easily turn into two, three, four, five, and then so on and so forth. And before you know it, you could be speaking on live in-person stages. But the most important thing is, again, just have the courage to take one step out into that spotlight of speaking and challenge yourself. Everything else comes naturally
Yeah.
afterwards.
Practice makes perfect. We talked sports before the show. You're a big
Mhm.
MMA fan, like and I am as well. It's those guys have to practice basketball, baseball,
Right.
across the board, and there's a lot of
Mhm.
bridge there. And it's a cool thing about speaking is you don't have to be perfect. It's your
You do.
story. So talk about stories and how that's got
Mhm.
you passionate about it.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I love what you just said. You don't have to be perfect. Believe it or not, I actually I have a speech disability. I have a really bad stutter. I've been able to overcome it, especially when I'm doing my public speaking. But when I'm off the camera, when I'm off the mic, it's hard for me sometimes to get some ideas out because of that disability. And I always say it this way: whatever obstacles you may have, once you're on that road of entrepreneurship, which again, to be clear, it's not necessarily owning a business, it's just living life your way. That's what entrepreneurship means to me. Sacrificing those blood, sweat, and tears for yourself, for your vision. When you're on that path, if you are an entrepreneur, your entire existence is defined by your ability to overcome, your ability to be more than your nature. Because by nature, I was just an immigrant kid with a speech disability, having the worst grades in his class, with parents that were trapped working minimum wage jobs and 12-hour shifts. Everything about my nature was limiting me. And I'm sure that that's the case for everyone listening. When you live life your way, you are defined not by what you were, but by what you're willing to become. So people that are afraid of speaking or ashamed of it or nervous about it, I tell them the same thing. If you have the will to overcome, you've already done it. That's what matters.
Brother, keep preaching because your way, you said it multiple times. I think of social media, Sebastian.
Mhm.
People go, oh, look at XYZ. I want that car. That's not my way. I don't care about a big house. I don't. My
Right.
wife knows that. She doesn't really care either. But that's the thing is your way. Customize to what makes you happy.
Mhm. As I wrote about this in my upcoming book. People make the mistake, and this is why so many people fail actually, because they aren't even aligned with their own dream. Because they're not dreaming about who they want to be, they're dreaming about what they want to have. So they're not connected to a passion or a purpose or a change they want to make in the lives of themselves or others. They're connected to a car, a watch, clothes, or a house. Where's the dream in that? Where are you in that? Right. So if someone in the audience feels that way, just take a step back and stop thinking about what you want to have and think more about who you want to be and the way that you want to live. And most importantly, the change that you want to make. Once you have that defined, you can align to it and it helps guide everything else. Alignment is always the first step.
Passion, 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 purpose, purpose. But those three, they're combined together. And then the dream comes after finding all that. You've inspired me. I'm 41 years older than you. I know I'm saying this multiple times. I just want to see this guy's 23 years old and he's doing very successful and he's going to be more successful. Here's what I want to do. You guys reach out to Sebastian. We'll get his contact information. I know his book's 3 to 6 months away. What's the name of the book again?
Oh, I love this book title so much. I'm very proud of it. It's a book about public speaking. So the title is You Are a Genius, but You Sound Like an Idiot, a guide to mastering public speaking. And it's designed to show people that it's not that you lack the talents to do it, you just lack the audacity to embody what you already know is within you, right? And that's the whole point of the book. It's teaching people how they already have that genius within them.
Okay, so audience, here's what I'm going to do. He doesn't know I'm doing this. It's the first 5 people that reach out to me or Sebastian. You just mentioned this podcast. Hey, I was doing business servant's heart. The title of it doesn't matter. You mentioned this podcast. When the book comes out in 3 to 6 months, I'm going to send you the book for free. So
Wow.
we can
Thank
help
you.
this incredible guy grow and connecting. And by the way, it's a gift because it's going to help you grow as an entrepreneur, which is his whole goal. Finance is another big part of it. I mean, you got so much to you. I see this hub with all these spokes coming out, which is great. Stocks University. Talk us about that. Tell us about that.
Yeah. First, Steve, thank you so much for that. I really had no idea you were going to do that. That's such a blessing to me. I think I've appreciated it so much. And to answer your question, Stocks University was my first business. So I've actually been doing investing and trading from a very young age. And again, I've always been a Christian entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur that when I have a business, my first thought is, what am I changing in the world? And that has guided everything. So when I educated myself at 14 about investing in finance and everything, I discovered that there was a flaw in the industry. Finance is a very difficult industry to be in, and it's also very predatory and frankly crappy industry. And I saw that anyone who was trying to educate people on this, they were gatekeeping. They were charging a lot of money. They're being very, crude and difficult to people that just need to get their lives together and learn about this tool. So when I launched Stocks University, I made it with the goal in mind to break the gate, to educate people in a way that was accessible to them. So my model, I haven't seen it be done before. I wouldn't say I'm the first, but I'd like to pretend I am. But I would say I'm one of the first people that has ever launched a model of education for finance that says you don't have to pay until you make some money. Because if I'm trying to teach you about finance, the whole goal is why would I charge you first? Right. So Stocks University, it has like that free trial for people to utilize, learn, practice, and profit, and never have to pay out of pocket, but instead out of the profit that I've been teaching them how to make. And it's actually at over 1,000 people now. And this was after I did public speaking that I was able to explode so much. But the community has grown to be pretty massive. And it's mostly church folk. I did a lot of speaking for churches for it because I believe that they need it quite a bit. Um, but it's grown so much, and it's been a blessing to me, and I've tried to be a blessing to them in return.
It's a powerful way to help people. You make an extra $500 a month trading stock. You're not talking about millionaires and Wall Street. You're talking about the everyday folk that are at church.
Exactly.
Perfect example. I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to answer it, but how much money are you running through Stocks University every month?
As far as money generated from other clients and myself?
Yeah.
Wow, well, that's a really good question. I can actually just pull it up right now. But I would say, as a community, so out of the 1,000 people actively, there's probably 300 to 400. We're probably making over cumulatively over $100,000 a month. And for people wondering, you can actually just join the Discord for free and look at the results chat, and you can see how much people are making. I've got it pulled up right here, as a matter of fact, and I've got people that are sometimes even making like $10,000 in a trade. There's this one lady. I mean, she's wonderful. She's actually one of my speakers and an author as well. Her name is Annette Pacheco. And wow, look at this. I've got it right here. I'm not sure if the camera will be able to pick it up, but this is her result. This is her literally just one day. I'm trying to
It's
get it
hard
to
to see.
focus.
Tell us what's that?
Yeah,
90,000?
that says $10,581 in short-term gain. And this was on a trade. So she's killing it. And there's quite a bit of people that are doing the same. And that's something, it's a project that I really just do. Keep in mind the subscription for Stocks Uni is it's $50 a month after you profit. It's really nothing. And I keep it that way on purpose. A lot of other places are charging, thousands, or they're taking percentages from other people's profits. I want to teach and let people fly solo. That's my whole thing. You can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach him how to fish. That's my philosophy.
Amen. And you found my podcast. I'm glad you did, because we're going to bring it back for part 2, a sequel down the road here. Annette, who you just mentioned, what does she do for a living? What's her background, real quick?
Yeah, so she does a little bit of work for the church. She was, I mean, she's not, like I said, I don't work with millionaires. I don't work with billionaires. I don't work with Bezos. I don't work with Musk. I work with just people that need it, right? At the end of the day, church folk, that's what I'm always rooted in. I try to never lose myself in all the money and all that stuff. It doesn't really matter to me as much as that impact, right? So, and then she just did church work. Right now, she's writing a book as well with my business partner, who's a publisher. And then she's one of my speakers too. So I've been connected with her for a little bit, and that's possible thanks to some of the profits that she's been making in the market. It's really it's just I know what it's like to be trapped in the system. My parents were trapped in the system. I felt like when I was growing up, the system robbed my family from me because they would just work 12 hours a day, come home, be too tired to even be a family, and I would just be there at home by myself, right? I know what that's like. I know what it's like to have a life flash before your eyes and realize that you weren't a father, you weren't a mother, you weren't a brother, you weren't a sister, you were just an employee. So knowing that I can at least help people make a couple hundred to a couple thousand extra dollars a month to give them some breathing space, give them a trip with their family or just something nice. That makes me happy because I feel like I'm saving people from the same things that I had to grow up with myself.
Wins, baby. You're talking wins. And 10,000 in one trade, most
Yeah,
people, that's a 3-month salary. 3,000
yeah,
a
she's
month.
killing
Yeah,
it.
that's
She's
killing
killing
it. So let's do we're coming to the end here. So I'm going to add something else to you, audience. Hope you stayed to the end. I know a lot of people don't, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people 5-10 minutes, they'll stick with it. Here's what I'm going to do. If you mention this podcast to me or Sebastian, I'll pay your first $50 monthly with Stocks University. So I'll cover your first month. I will guarantee 99%, I never go 100, Sebastian, that you'll
it.
make your $50 back in that first month. Am I far off base there?
No, not actually. I'm extremely accurate in the market. I trade only once a day. I have a very specific set of rules because I've
Yep.
been doing it for a long, long time. But my accuracy is usually hovering above 80%. Some months even at close to 90, 95% accuracy. But I'm not trading a lot. I trade very steady. I wait for A plus setups. Some days I literally will say, I don't want
Nothing.
to trade today because the market's not looking optimal to me. But I'm very accurate. People have been able to make consistently a lot of money. I'm actually going to upload a vlog on my Instagram, YouTube, with a gentleman who took me out for dinner when I was traveling back to Orlando, because he hit his first 10,000. So he went from just 1,000 to all the way up to 10,000, and that was pretty much from um, late 2025 up to now in 2026. So he also had, I mean, he was really killing it too. So you'll see it, you'll see it in the chat, you'll be able to see all the proof is in the pudding. I would never stretch truths about things like that.
No, and you're doing it the right way because you do $50, nothing. If you're making a few hundred, 500, and you put 450 in your pocket or 400, because I'm sure there's a little split you might take, and he'll get into all that. But this is the problem with finance; they don't do what you're doing. It's
Yeah.
you're a unicorn in this industry, and I appreciate you. Let's end with this
Thank you.
question, Sebastian. What do you look like in 2 to 3 years? You're only going to be 26.
Oh man, in 2 to 3 years, hopefully I still look 23. People
I'm
have told
sure
me that
you
I look
will. Physically, yes.
no, I hope so. People have told me that I look 30 sometimes, and that breaks my heart. But in 2 to 3 years,
Immature.
to seriously answer your question, um, and if I could just share a brief story. I've been asked this question before, and then I always try to answer it the same way. When I was 21, I met a millionaire. And this gentleman, his name is Sergio Amador. He's one of the most unique people I've ever met in my life. He was a man who became a millionaire at a very young age in a life of uh, basically in a life of crime. Then he opened up some nightclubs. He was living this crazy lifestyle, making millions on a monthly basis. But by the time I met him, he had sold everything he had because he wasn't happy doing any of that stuff. He was empty. So he gave up his almost that million, couple $1 million a month to make a fraction of that at just one little place. He transformed his last club into a community hub, a place of art, a place of development, a place of growth, a place of improvement, a healthy place, right? And he invited me to a vision board event one time. And it was all his friends, some other people there. He was the richest person in that room by far. And everyone in that room was writing on that vision board, I want to make 10K a month. I want to be a millionaire. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to have all this money. Um, he's the only person that got up and just wrote one word, happy. He wanted to be happy. That was it. And that blew my mind because after we left that event, and keep in mind, the whole time I'm meeting this guy, I'm always asking him questions about money. I'm asking him how to get rich. I felt greedy, right? And then this was the last time I saw him for a very long time because he told me that I had to understand this lesson. He said, listen, the whole time that you've known me, how many times have you heard me talk about money? And I had this epiphany, this flashback of all the conversations we ever had. He never talked about it. It was just me asking about it over and over and over again. All he talked about was his happiness, him being creative, him having this passion and purpose. And that's why I talk about passion and purpose so much. That changed my life forever. So you ask me where I want to be in 2 to 3 years, I just want to be happy. That's it. Whatever else I have is on top of the minimum, which is happiness.
Reason people say you're 30 or 40 is because your maturity. That is something 40, 50-year-olds don't say because they're still struggling. The grind, the
Mhm.
50, 60-hour work week. Nah, that doesn't make you. I'm happy. I love to work 8, 10 hours sometimes. I love it. Probably you do too. But we don't do it every day. And that's great message you left. Well, let's end with a Sebastian question. I call this. So I'm coming to Spain and you're going to pick your favorite restaurant. I want you to invite so we're gonna this is great. You're gonna invite 3 people, whether dead or alive, who've been influential in your life. I think I know one of them. And for me and for the table, but me, I'm a foodie. What food would you order for the table? Because I've never been to Spain, so I'll need
Oh
some help.
man. I'll be honest. I think I lived in the United States for too long because I'm gonna get so much backlash for this. I know I will, but the food in Spain just doesn't compare to those greasy, high cholesterol, diabetic burgers you get in the USA. I still dream about that here, and I haven't been able to find a place that has it. So if you
That's
ask me
hilarious.
genuinely, I might just take you to a Burger King here in Spain.
Okay, that's fine. That's
I'm just being so honest, man.
Love it.
But there's a lot of good restaurants here. Lately, I've been going to this cafe down the street called Santa Gloria, and it's so nice. It's such a great place to sit down and get some work done. Were you asking me who I would invite to
Yeah,
sit down
three
with you?
people who've been influential in your life.
Oh man, I would definitely have to invite. Okay, I've got these are this could be the most random list of people, right? It's gonna start off pretty reasonable. I would have to invite my dad, who is to this day still my hero, always will be. Um, Likely Sergio Amador, the millionaire who I just mentioned, for giving me a change in my mentality. And lastly, I have to say Kanye West because he just has the greatest music ever.
It's beautiful.
I have
That's
to
what
say.
I love it. It's a great table. Business, music for entertainment, and your dad for family.
Right.
It's your
Just like
table. It's
it, best mix you could ever have, right?
eh, perfect. I love it. Sebastian, I can't wait to bring you back in a few months. Yeah, if you're looking, there'll be a sequel because I want to stay. I'm going to stay connected with him because we're going to do some things together. But I just want to see his journey and the things that he's going to do. Uh, how can people reach out to you, connect with you?
Yeah, well, I mean, the best way, I have a website where, I mean, the only thing on that website, and I love to keep it this way, is a calendar where you can actually just schedule a time directly with me. And the reason why I operate that way, it's you're not going to be talking to an agent or anything like that. Again, I'm a passion-based entrepreneur. So when I'm talking about my speaking agency, Speak Up Express, I want people to go there. There's no option to pay. There's no option for anything. There's just an option to book a time because I want to hear about what they've got. I want to hear about what their vision is, where they're at, what stages they want to get on. I want to hear about all those different kinds of things. That's so important to me. So the best way to get in touch with me is just on speakup.express. And you'll even find my personal number and email there as well. And I like it that way. A lot of people don't do that, but I like to talk to my
Yeah.
speakers.
You'll be right to them. And we'll put that in the show notes, audience, so you have access to them. And then make sure you mention the podcast. I'll say it again. Either get his book or I'm going to pay for your first month of Stocks University and help you grow because I know if I get that and you make $500 the next month, you're going to remember me and you're definitely going to remember Sebastian and you're going to want to work with him. So sometimes it takes that little nudge, right, Sebastian, for
It
somebody to
does.
take a step.
It does, absolutely. A lot of people, and I try to, I think one of the best things that I've done with Stocks University was really just breaking down that first wall. People, when they're thinking about, man, I don't want to have to pay this or that. Great, you don't have to. You don't have
Yeah.
to. You don't have to do anything until you've made your own money on your own way. That's it, right? Because again, it's not people's fault. It's scary. It's a scary industry. It's a scary thing to do, and I think it's my duty to make it as unintimidating as possible.
Man, I love it. What a great Rand. You could tell this is a servant's heart. And at such a young age, I can't wait till he's my age. I won't be around, but funny to say, but he's going to be doing great things and serving many others. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, podcast, whatever it may be. And you're listening and you're like, God, my friend would love to trade stocks with him or want to become a speaker or the stuff that we talked about today. Share this with them. What a warm introduction. But more important, what a gift because they reach out to them, they become a speaker, or they join Stocks University and make a few extra dollars or a lot of dollars. You've made an impact, and that's what the whole world needs. Is we need to impact each other and make differences in our lives. So, with that being said, me and Sebastian want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.